I mean, just how far can we get in with the seat? Not, oh my gosh. Wow. All right, this is like a channel where the wiring harness runs. You can see it's all been waterlogged. This has got to be our issue area right here.
A wise man once said, "Drip too hard, don't stand too close. You go mess around and drown off this wave." These intelligible words came after he found a flood in his $90,000 BMW SUV, and he's not the only one. BMW have been making cars that drip too hard for years now, and when they do in the wrong area, the entire car can become mechanically totaled and rendered useless. My twin-turbo BMW X6m was actually on sale at a used car dealer for around 25 grand until its electrical issues started creeping up, so they turned it around and dumped it at auction. If you want a bit more backstory on my cheap auction X6m, go ahead and hit the video link above, but in a moment we'll explore how this all happens and my shade tree solution. Now, even though BMWs have their issues, they could still be really enjoyable, and since it's getting close to that cheerful time of year, I want to give thanks to the most important things in my life, which starts with everyone watching this video. You guys are the best, even if you hit the dislike button. Next is my cheap auction Ferrari, which gets the temperatures hot enough to roast a turkey. And of course, I can't forget my favorite mobile game, Lightning Link Casino. With dozens of amazing slot games on tap, the 18 and older audience are really in for a treat. While there's no real gambling, money, or prizes, there's a ton of real fun with Lightning Link Casino. Now you can bring the authentic slot experience right to your iOS or Android mobile device. Just tap the link in the description box and download the game totally free. I've been playing Lightning Link for a while now. One of its best features is the huge variety of slots they have available. Ones that you probably heard of like Buffalo Gold and Dragon Link. My favorite slot has to be Grand Star. Last time I played, I hit the 49 million coin jackpot. So let's see what we can do this time. There we go, right off the bat, we get a win. I told you, Grand Star, that's my game, baby! Now to celebrate Turkey Day, Lightning Link Casino is running a special Ready Steady Thanksgiving week of offers, exciting events, and in-game gifts. So make sure you hit that link in the description or scan the QR code here on the screen. And when you do, new players are gonna get 10 million coins. Now remember, practice or success at social gaming doesn't imply future success at gambling. And with that said, I gotta give a huge thanks to Lightning Link Casino for sponsoring this video. Check this out. This is way worse than I ever even could have imagined. Look how deep the floor goes, and it's saturated with water everywhere. There's a wiring harness just living in the water, so we need to get all this up and out and clean. Well, the easy way to do it would be to move the seat and then unbolt it, right? Seats are just held in with 4 bolts, but the seat's dead, so what I did is I put the module back in that we pulled out earlier. And check this out, our electrical system issue, well, it came back on the dashboard there for a second. You can hear the electronics clicking on and off. Sage, do me a favor and pull that relay that was clicking, because what that might do is send power to our seat control for a second, and then it will allow me. So you pulled it out, it did not work. Let me, hold on a second. All right, power to the car, let's see. The seat is still dead, man. This really is no good. We gotta get this seat moved so we can get the carpet up, and I just don't know how we're gonna do it. I mean, just how far can we get in with the seat? Not, oh my gosh. Wow. This whole entire channel lives where this puddle of water is right here. So I'm pulling this up and out. We just got to get a shop vac in here, get rid of all the water right now so we can dry everything out. And then let's see if we can move our seats. I mean, there's grounds and everything in here that are all wet. You can see them in the corner. I mean, it's just a disaster. Let's get this as dry as we can and then keep working on it. Oh yeah, look at, this is about double what we had before. Since we were having no luck figuring out the drain from up top, I figured it might be a good idea to move to the bottom, and there's a lot of people online that have shown pictures of these kind of mucky sunroof drains towards the bottom where it exits under the fender. So what we did is we poured water out the passenger side to see exactly where it flows out the car, and then we lifted up the fender liner, and you can see here I've stuck my endoscope in the fender liner. Problem is, on the passenger side you can't really see where the drain is because there's a windshield washer reservoir right in the way, and if this one ever got plugged up here, I think you'd have a heck of a time trying to reach it. So we moved to the driver's side, and just by sight you could kind of see this rubber plug sitting there. It didn't look like it was clogged. It looked just fine. Tried to stick some weed whacker line up it, and it just wasn't doing anything either. It didn't really help us at all. We're kind of just back where we started. I just want to show you something really fun here. This is the screen to the endoscope that I just showed you I had tucked up and under the fender liner. And these things are like invaluable when you're trying to work in tight spaces, and especially if you're trying to scope the inside of an engine. And what's really cool about this one is you can see on the side there, when I hit the button, it's got a second lens, so you could see like the cylinder walls without having to try and twist this while it's in the engine. It makes things really easy. But watch this. If I press the button again, there's a third lens on this one. This is just one of those really cool new tools that I'm excited about. So if you're a DIYer, check it out. I'm going to drop an Amazon link to it down in the description. With the carpeting and all the trim pulled up and no obvious sunroof drain in sight, what I want to do is I'm going to get up top here. I've got just a little pan of water. We're just going to pour it in the drain that we know that gets stopped up right here. And then quickly come down here and see if we see any dripping come from anywhere. Do you see this? It's not dripping from anywhere down here that I can see. It's actually dripping from up here. Like it's coming down. It's coming down here. That's weird. Hold on. I'll pull this trim off. It's like it's coming out of the pillar here. Where's the drain at though? I see I still can't. Oh, I feel it. It's right here. I can feel it. I kept putting water in the drain area so I could actually visualize what's going on. When you hear about a sunroof drain leaking in your car, I thought that maybe there's something internal because the drain does actually run through the car and it's letting water just down out on the floorboards, and that is not the case. So what is happening here is that the water is pulling up above the drain, and then that water makes its way up and over the frame into the car. When I say the frame, that's the part of the sunroof that's actually mounted to the body of the car. So it's running up and out of the frame into the body, and it's located in the front corner, so it's running down the A-pillar. Now initially I can feel my airbag is getting damp, so it's running down the airbag, and then it just continues to run. And as things get saturated, now we have some actual running water here, and the water runs down behind the plastic trim and into the floorboards. And obviously the more water you have, if it's a heavy rainstorm, the quicker it's just going to pool up. I've been working through multiple things at once in the front footwell area, and I'm running into issues pretty much everywhere. So first and foremost, I want the seat up and out of the car. That's going to allow us to effectively dry everything out, and we're going to be able to find if anything else was damaged while water got in there. Number two, well, we need to stop the water from getting in the car. And so I ran through a bunch of different steps in order to do that. I already showed you that I used compressed air to try and blow out the drain. I then used weed whacker string and ran it down the drain itself. That didn't help. And then I went and got a drain snake, which is basically the same exact thing as the weed whacker string, and it didn't help. And last, which I thought was a bit crazy, but someone here on YouTube has a really fun video of them doing this, I ran Drano through the drain itself, a foaming Drano, to try and attack this clog. I even set up my camera in time lapse to try and capture this drain becoming unclogged and watch all the gunk come out, and well, nothing ever came out. And at this point it dawned on me that we don't have an issue with the clog, we have an issue with the drain itself. There's a problem somewhere in the car that is just stopping things from flowing, obviously. I'm thinking about what we talked about before and how the drain itself runs. If the issue in the line is somewhere between here and here in the roof, well, we could probably access that by taking the headliner down, which we don't want to have to take the headliner down if we don't have to, but if we have to, we will. Next, we got the pillar to deal with. Now the pillar is a problem because if there's an actual issue in here, well, that's
the structure of the car, and it is encased in the pillar. It's not outside the pillar. As you saw, you can only see the airbag from the inside. So let's hope it's not in here. Now, if it comes down here, it's somewhere behind the fender. Well, worst case scenario, we'd have to pull the fender back, but there might be access from inside of the car. I'm not quite sure yet. Let's hope the problem is contained somewhere in this area, because that's going to be the easiest area to attack. All right, major breakthrough on the X6. We're really excited. We actually got somewhere. Spent probably a few more hours than we needed to figuring out how in the heck we're gonna get the seat up and out of the car. So here's the scoop. Went underneath here, we had this all propped up with these just pieces of wood here, which in today's market might actually be more valuable than BMW, and you can see things are considerably drier. Remember when I was squishing this yesterday, it was just kind of falling out of the padding here, a lot drier, but of course, we really need this seat up and out of the car in order to get to everything. So, I did find the wiring diagram that showed the motors that will move this seat back and forward. There are two green wires, one's got a white stripe, one's got a black stripe, but they're so far tucked underneath the seat, and the seat is currently sitting so darn low, I don't know how in the heck I'm gonna get to them. So what I did instead is I went over here to the passenger side, and I unplugged the module from here. Do you see the wiring harnesses just kind of sitting there? That's because, well, that module is out of the passenger seat. So this is the driver's seat module. Now, once this was all dried out, I did try plugging this back in and moving the seat. It still didn't work, and our electrical problem would come back every time I plug it back in. But now, with the passenger seat module plugged in on the driver's side, so just swap sides, when we go to turn on the electronics in our X6, look, everything powers on, just like it did when I pulled the module out, and our seat works back and forward, up, down. So now we figured out we definitely have a bad module that needs to be replaced. No big deal. These are really inexpensive. And, well, we just really got to start cleaning up everything, testing it. And if this ends up being this car's major issue, well, we scored big. We found it. We're finally making some progress here. So this is what's called the footwell module, and in a service bulletin for this issue it says you need to remove this, and then boom, do you see that little compartment right there? That little rubber hose with that major like 90-degree kink in it? That is definitely the problem. And look, I wiggled it around, and if we come around to the ground right underneath where the sunroof drain is, look at that big puddle. It's all wet right there. So just by me touching it, it made it a little bit straighter, and it cleared out the drain. Oh, here, let's check up here. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's completely dry. The pooling stopped. So that is our issue finally, the kink right there. Now, the question is how we're going to actually straighten that out, because if you look at it, it looks like maybe over time the hose, it might have came out of where it runs, but it just looks like it's too long, because it's tough for you guys to see. I'm going to flip the camera around this way and see if I can get you in there, but you can see where it runs out the grommet in the back. You see where it runs out that grommet in the back there? It's like it's stretched out, got longer over time. I'm wondering if I should cut that long section out and then run a piece of sleeve over it with some like silicone or what. But you can totally see it's kinked. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways to go about this, right? But I want the simplest way where we don't modify the line at all. I don't want to cut it. I mean, we could cut it, shorten it, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to use a drill and a zip tie. Oh, there we go. All right, so I just ran the zip tie through that hole, and I'm going to just try and see, is it even long enough? Let's see here. If I can pull it straight, we won't put a bunch of tension on it. All right, I'm gonna let the hose run, back up a little bit. Let's see if it actually comes out of the drain and our zip tie fix work. All right, it's pretty full,
Yep, we're getting water.
Awesome.
Yep, there we go.
All right, so there you have it. The official fix to a lemon repo flooded BMW is a single zip tie. All right, so really I used 2 zip ties here, and all I did was really just pull the slack out of the line by putting a little bit of tension on it downwards. That pulls it straight. And then the second zip tie, I pushed up against the side wall, the part that looks a little bit collapsed here on the drain, just pushed it in a little bit to return the structure to the line, and everything seems to be working good. Over the last few days, we let this air out. We had a fan running in here. All the padding, all the carpeting is dry. It's clean. I shot electrical contact cleaner on any of the contacts, the grounds that were in the corner there. Everything is kind of back in place, except for the seat. We're gonna throw it in right now, but before we put the seat in, it will be much easier to install our replacement seat module in it with it out of the car. This was $40 online, and this is going to be, at least for right now, the major spend on our X6m. This is going to make our half-off bargain M SUV work again, which is incredible. I generally don't get away like this. Well, let's hope that's the case. We're gonna throw it in the seat real quick. We'll reinstall the seat. We'll launch Carly, clear all the codes. We'll take it on another drive and see how it works this time. All right, with everything put all back together and assembled in our X6, with the water no longer pooling up in the floorboards here, we want to see if we can get rid of that restraint system fault. And, well, we've generated a whole slew of new faults since we were just having a bunch of things unplugged down there. Once we clear everything, we're going to turn the car on, and let's hope nothing returns. And if that ends up being the case, we're gonna have an awesome daily driver on our hands. Look at that. You see the SRS light went off right in front of us there. So Carly's doing its job, but we gotta fire everything back up to make sure it stays off. All right, let's see if it actually will work. I'm gonna check right here. So far, so good. Look, nothing's popped up there or there. All right, we're good. That's just telling me my seatbelt is not currently on, because it's not. We're just sitting here. And that, well, you know, that's like a consistent theme with all my cars, although I think we can easily reset that in the iDrive. All right, all lights are off the dashboard. Everything seems to be working. This, I think, was a really good deal. So let's start off with the price, of course. The winning bid was $12,800. And if you consider the only sort of money we needed to throw at this car was $40 for a used seat module to make our seat functions work again, and also get rid of that CAN bus network issue, right there, we only spent $40 fixing this car. I did spend another $80 buying that junction box electronics, which was totally unnecessary. It's not like we got nothing for that $80, but it was kind of a waste. So we're still under $13,000 all in for this X6m. Of course, we have to remember it has a Lemon Law buyback title. Now, in my opinion, since this car was Lemon Lawed out so late in its life, around 90,000 miles, which, by the way, makes little to no sense. I don't know the whole entire backstory on it. I tried talking to people within the BMW dealer. It doesn't make any sense, but it is on the record of being a buyback at 90,000 miles. I personally think that might be better for the car than worse for the car. When a car is Lemon Lawed out, the manufacturer will specifically pay a dealer to repair the car before it's resold. So this car was Lemon Lawed, according to the Carfax, for the blue smoke issue, which is a pretty common issue on this twin-turbo V8 platform of this era of BMWs. There was actually a massive campaign for the N63 engine, which would be the engine that would come in like a 750i or a 550i or an X6 with just the V8, not the M variant. But in a lot of cases, they were doing major engine overhauls, throwing thousands of dollars at these engines and new engine parts, and in some cases replacing the entire engines themselves. So say that this car had a really, really good service at 90,000 miles because of its buyback. Again, I think that's more positive than it is negative, and the car clearly doesn't have a blue smoke issue anymore. So that'd be my argument as to why this car is better off as a Lemon Law, but it is still a technical issue. It still will show up on a title, and cars with branded titles are just worth less than a clean title, right? Either way, SUVs and crossovers are really in demand right now, so the resale price on these vehicles are quite a bit higher than maybe some people think they should be. This car, without the lemon law title and without any issues, is worth north of 20,000, even with over 100,000 miles on it. And the fact that it's an M car, well, it increases the resale value that much more. Now, the funny thing is, when I was looking for an X6m, I thought I was gonna get this kind of edgy, raw M car just in a bigger package. It's really not like that at all. This car is just the ultimate version of BMW's X6. It has every single option you could ever spec on it. It has soft closed doors. It has a leaky sunroof. It has Bluetooth. It has sensors everywhere. Obviously a backup camera, which was a pretty big feature 10 years ago. And it's just really nice. All the materials are high quality. It's got carbon fiber and it's got this, again, beautiful red leather. And one thing that is just amazing is the ride quality. When you're just going straight on a smooth road is really nice, but it drives, in my experience, like an X5, like an SUV that's got that slight level of unrefinement that makes it that much more enjoyable. So for someone who actually likes to drive a car, that's why you buy an X5 versus buying a Lexus. So going forward, when I see BMW X6Ms, instead of looking at them as like ultra fast SUVs, what I would look at it as is more of the ultra luxury line of BMW's SUV. It's just a really, really nice car to drive. Now, the one thing that will definitely take a toll on this car's value is the fact that it is missing the M wheels, and someone let me know in the comments that I'm also missing the M brakes, which are blue painted Brembos. Just to buy a used set of these brakes, you're talking about $2,000, and a used set of wheels is closer to $3,000. And of course, you have to figure you have to install them back in the car. These brakes, I mean, they feel pretty good. I'm not driving the car super hard, so I don't know that I notice a difference, but it is missing them, and it is something that the car should have. Now, personally, I might buy the brakes themselves used, but I wouldn't buy the wheels used. I think the smarter way to do this is to go find an X5 or an X6 at an auction with, you know, major mechanical issue or a crashed car, but a car that came with the M package, and it's gonna have the same or very similar wheels and tires to what should have come on this X6M. And right there, for about $3 grand, you could have yourself an entire car. Take the wheels off of this one, swap them onto your auction problem car, and then flip the car back at auction. Chances are you're either gonna lose or make $500. In this market, things are kind of crazy, but if you buy the car right, you could probably break even and get the wheels at no cost. The funny thing is, just a few days ago, I won a BMW X5 with the M Sport package with the proper 20-inch wide wheels on it for $3,500 or $3,600. It had under 100,000 miles. It said in the listing that it had a mechanical issue, the blue smoke coming out the back. Now, the seller did not release it for that price, but it's just a matter of time. The right one comes up to auction with the right issues, I could get one really cheap, and that is the one thing I would really like back on this car, is a nice set of wheels. This car's stance is a bit more aggressive than your regular X6, and to be sitting on the basic wheels, it kind of makes it not look right, and the offsets are really just tucked in on the standard wheels. So that's really the only thing I want to do to it. Otherwise, I really enjoy driving it around. It is a really, really nice car, and besides my big truck, I don't really have an SUV, so I kind of like this one. I think it will stay around for a little while. Now, if you have a BMW X5 or X6 of the same era, just do yourself a favor and check your sunroof drains. Make sure everything is flowing freely out the fenders, out the back, because apparently it was a common issue on these cars. And you bought a BMW because you want to show people that drip, but trust me, you don't want to drip too hard. And if you enjoyed that really terrible joke, make sure you hit that like button. Also, if you're not already following me on Instagram, I'm going to post an update to the Aston Martin project very soon. And if you want to see some pictures of my new sports car project, which I've got parked right there before anything goes live here on YouTube, well, just follow me here or click the link in the description. Guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today, and I'll catch you very soon.
Us.